feedback from the ATM lessons. We'll give you more general feedback for everyone tomorrow after the second people have taught, but well done. Okay, just another couple of things with this, with his hand. And please feel free to explore this on your hands as you're doing it. So we were talking about that if you want to get that, you need to go more into the side of the wrist where this bone's joining on rather than into the middle of the wrist. Then these, so we've got the movements of the wrist. Forward back or flexion extension. And the other two movements are what are called radial and ulnar deviation. So you bend toward one side and you bend toward the other side, and then they all join together into those two planes join into a bit of a circle. And again, you could hold not there, but you could hold up here, and you can see you could circle both of them, or you could hold this and circle this, or you could circle both of them. Do whatever you like. So thumb is a saddle joint, and again you need to see this to do it, but it's this shape of this joint here that's sort of curved this way and that way, exactly like a saddle. If you think of the horse's saddle and it curves two ways, that's why it's called a saddle joint. That's what allows the thumb to have so much flexibility in it. Then the little muscles, there's little muscles in here called the lumbricals and the interossei, and what they do is they spread the fingers apart and bring them back together. And they do that. What is that functionally useful for? Puppets. I always think that's its main use when you're doing that. So there's different type of grasps in the hand, and anything that's going to be fine movement in the fingers is always going to take the wrist backwards. So you'll often see people come in and they'll try and be doing fine movement with their wrist in that position. It's really difficult to do. So that's where fine movements would always have some amount of extension. But you can see that even though you're going back there, this is getting wider. This is getting wider because the wrist is going back. And then you've got all your little things. So one of the things that I do a lot when I'm working with people is and I do this with necks, is really look at where the creases are in their palms, because I know that if I go along the creases, that's going to be the natural place where they will bend. That's going to tell me something about where they like to move from. And these movements of the palm, for you as Feldenkrais practitioners, are incredibly important. To be able to really develop this ability to change the shape of your palm. So I just really wanted to add just that I hadn't given you all the wrist movements, the thumb, and these ones. So when I'm taking the wrist back, as someone pointed out, if I was just doing it, most people, if I just threw my wrist back, boom, the fingers will bend, but this will extend. When I throw it forward, the fingers will straighten. Fingers will spit, bump, bump, bump. That's to do with the length of the muscles. So this movement that I was showing you about when you go back, that the fingers would lengthen. So that's more the waiter's hold. No, when I'm holding a plate, that really tells you that this is really well organised, because they really know how to shorten one side and lengthen the other. And that's the same as here. So this is the bit that I really wanted to add. That there's a lot of people, when they come onto their hands, that they don't realise that that goes back and this comes forward. No? So they're sitting back there behind their wrist. So this is where that wrist movement gets really important. No? That you can really move that around. No? Yeah, that's beautiful, Silvana. Yeah. So just go up again. And this time, just feel, if you really don't let your fingers move as you're doing that, as you're taking your weight forward. Again, she's going to get jammed. No? Can you feel that, Silvana? So everything has to move. If I'm taking my weight forward, what would my fingers be doing? They'd be spreading and getting longer. No? They have to be adapting. Every time you shift weight, something has to be adapting. Nothing should ever be stuck into the ground. And you can feel the difference if you tighten up your fingers and try and do it. Huh? It hurts. Yeah? So again, it's this idea that movement, this proximal distal, both ends always have to be doing some movement. It's never about one just staying fixed and the other one moving on it. Okay, swap over. So start from the beginning. Tracing out the... Actually, how about you swap over and have a different partner? Seeing you're going to be doing the whole thing again. So the people who were the practitioner this morning, could you just all lie on the floor? People who were the practitioner, lie on the floor. And the rest of you, find a partner.